Thank you, Liz, and everyone else. Looking forward to a fun discussion today. Hopefully those slides are coming up. There we go. And I'm joining you today from Acumatica's headquarters outside Seattle. And it's always great to be part of this community and join this group, and happy to be a part of this discussion, and look forward to sort of the next 20, 30 minutes where you get to hear a few things about what we're doing. And then we'll get you on to the real meat of the conversation and all the work that you're doing, in your teams, in your sessions, in your hopefully the slides will move. There we go. And so here's what's in store for you, for the rest of the period here. There are about 682 of you registered as of this morning. I'm one of those, so you can maybe subtract one. There are all kinds of educational sessions, industry sessions, you name it. There's a jam-packed agenda, 36 individual sessions. You're going to learn, share, connect. And I think it's, from my perspective at Acumatica, I just love the effort, the directors of the team that you heard from that run this, the people who bring their subject matter expertise, like from our VAR community, and also these key ISV sponsors. And so thanks to all of you for contributing to this, because I do think that it wouldn't happen without you. And it's such a reflection on the strength of our community. And so I'm always happy to be a part of it, and always happy to be here with you. Let's talk a little about where we are as a company, as a community, and kind of what we're looking at. And I sort of feel like, if you were at our summit back in January, and you'll hear it again at this summit, coming up, you're going to hear a lot about kind of the era of growth that we're in. And you kind of think Acumatica, you kind of think how big we are and what we're doing, but the opportunity in front of us is growing and growing all the time. And I think it really comes from a couple very specific factors. One is, more and more businesses I see kind of growing out of their small business solutions. This whole wave of companies that's experiencing kind of growth today, and realizing it's time to move up, professionalize, bring in real business management, real back-end solutions to help them achieve their potential. That's a huge category for us. Second huge category is all the legacy ERP systems that are still out there. We did a market study not long ago that said that something like 65% of companies in our kind of target demographic size industries, you name it, still hadn't moved to the cloud. So 35% had, roughly. And that's an exact number, but what it means is actually that there's still so much room for growth that we all need to kind of keep our eye on. And then we're doing that really with industry-specific solutions. And our industries are, as you well know, because you come from them, things like construction, manufacturing. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But that, to me, is the key. We're not doing something generic. We're doing something that's tailored and built for that industry, that solves that industry's specific, unique problems. And we're trying to deepen and broaden that as fast as we can. That's how we grow. Our customer base has had radical expansion again in 2024. Our company has had radical expansion in 2024. We're almost 700 employees. We'll be over that by the end of the year. You may have seen some news recently, for example, that we have a new engineering leader that we brought in, a guy named Miten Mehta, who's a senior vice president from Salesforce. Mike Shulkanagov, who you all know and is still here, will stay here. He'll be our CTO and help us with things like vision and direction and kind of ongoing strategic projects. But Miten is running the engineering team. He'll introduce himself in various forums, including Summit, in the coming months. That's very exciting for us. So we're also, as the company's growing, we're sort of setting ourselves up for that future expansion. And the industry continues to pay attention. Analysts and press, you name it. We were number one in 20 different categories in G2 in the summer reports. We were the leader in the Nucleus Value Matrix and the IDC MarketScapes for mid-market. We once again won the Trust Radius Tech Cares Award, which goes beyond just sort of the performance of the product, but also how we act as a company. All of this continues to set us up for continued growth, and we need the community together with us to make that successful. And so part of what we've done really in the last 12 months also is really evolve and strengthen our ecosystem, which many of you are from. And I think that for us is still the single biggest differentiator we have as a company is the ecosystem of partners, ISVs, developers, you name it, that are out there spreading the word, making customers successful, teaching us what we need to do. But we've done a lot of that over the last 12 months with you. We've continued to strengthen our VAR channel, program improvements, more and more industry expertise, lots and lots of collaboration. This to us is vital to our success in the US and overseas. We've also expanded our ISV program. We continue to add new ISV applications to our marketplace. More and more ISVs are calling us, asking us to be a part of the Acumatica community, which we think is great. But we've also added new categories to our ecosystem. For example, services-only partners. There's now more than a dozen of them that are out there doing that will just simply do implementation and services on behalf of. We have an alliance program with ISVs for the first time, where we're kind of jointly selling with some kind of core strategic ISVs. We've rolled out referral programs and many other things. And I would expect more categories like this to come from us, because our ecosystem is not one size fits all. We want all types of people contributing, all the way from sales to implementation to services to support, customer success, you name it. We want them to participate, because that's how we will keep growing, and that's how we scale. It's actually, again, the single biggest differentiator I think that we have to some extent. We believe we have the best and most collaborative ecosystem in the market. I think that a lot of the partners who are with us came from other ecosystems, or maybe still are working with both, and they want to work with us. And that to me is perhaps, again, the most valuable thing we've been able to create at Acumatica in the last decade. And the community comes from that ecosystem largely. The power of that community, how it expands, how it grows, how it feeds on itself, is significant. And, we believe Acumatica is this community of, Acumatica broadly, not the company, is this community of partners, customers, and creators. And we think all of you are invested in succeeding with customers and helping tomorrow's businesses grow. And that's what we believe in. That's kind of our mission. And that power is there. And, we see it every day. We see it in the customer portal and the partner portals, where there's sort of central hub of engagement, and we, tons and tons of messages and feedback and votes. We see it in the exchange of ideas and best practices. We see it in customers going live and being successful. We certainly see it at Summit. Summit is kind of the manifestation of all these things together. This Summit this year in Las Vegas will be the biggest one we've ever had, just like last year's was the biggest one we've ever had. And we can't wait to do that again. It's my favorite week of the year. It's exhausting, but it's my favorite week of the year, and I can't wait for it. And that community drives all those things. Without that, it would just be us, kind of barking into the wind. But with you amplifying that message and carrying it for us, it's all of us together. And what's great about that is what it means is we can be much more customer centric, because we get that feedback, we get those ideas, we learn from you. We can see what it means, what innovation you want in the product. We can see what you need for security. We understand what your needs are for support, and we do all those things again with that VAR ecosystem and ISV ecosystem and developer ecosystem that's so vital to us. So the power of community for us is really real, and I love that it manifests itself every year in this acuCONNECT event. The community itself, the acuCONNECT group itself, is a great example of this community in action. Not just this event, but the whole year-long set of activities. All these exchanges of ideas, best practices, understanding what's working, what's not working. The data is pretty interesting, right? There's been an increase of over 20% in committee participation. There's been another 22% increase in subscribers. The website's been expanded and grown. There's even more webinars, more content. This is such a great example of what makes Acumatica so special. This virtual event today, all the sessions you're going to see, the learning you'll have, and then when we get you in person at Summit again in January, that value is very real. And so for us, it's a core part of our planning in our year to work with this group, and we thank you for that. So where are we going? I'm just give you a couple of updates for the next few minutes on R2 and what's happening there, and where we are in our schedule and what we see happening. Our general availability for R2 will be in October 2nd, I believe it is. I'm sure many of you have seen already worked with versions of the code and technology. There's a lot of very exciting stuff happening in it. I just want to highlight a couple of those things so that we can, you can be thinking about what it is we're working on. The first is it'll be your first real chance to get your hands on our new UI. The new UI you've seen demoed, or you've heard about it, maybe you've witnessed it. It will be something that you get in your hands to some extent for the first time. It's not ready to roll out fully across the product. That's not this milestone, but there will be all kinds of ways you can run it, see it, learn it side by side. Developers will be able to start writing code against that new UI with those APIs. And I think that it's one where we'll have, again, multiple releases before it's fully ready for a swap, but it's going to be side by side for a while in different forms. And I think this one will get a lot of people excited because they'll see real exceptional ability to drive usability, to drive better ways of viewing data, better ways of engaging with the product. And I think it's going to take us from what looks like a very modern product today to a really modern product over the next year as we go through these milestones. And it'll be sort of the next 3 releases will be different milestones for the new UI. So that's for us a big effort. It's been going on for multiple years, and Mike and Mitten and the team are ready to start kind of putting that in your hands. And so we're excited about that. Second thing is kind of overall business and business intelligence, a whole wave of features happening that will make your business kind of continue to get better data, better reporting, use of more ML. Things are happening with behind the scenes back-end code logic. The platform's getting smarter, and it's getting smarter in the mobile apps as well as the browser, as well as everything. And I think all the ISVs are following along with that. So for us, there's a whole set of interesting evolutions with the intelligent platform that drives Acumatica. We're excited about that. And then third, there's always a whole laundry list of features that comes out that's about industry-focused functionality. We get those features often from the community. We ask the community to comment on the ones they find most valuable. There'll be dozens of new industry-specific features in this R2 that we'll be showing in demos and highlighting our R2 launch event. We'll show a lot of that as well ongoing sessions. But that for us is again, very important because that's what we're actually selling. We're actually selling industry-specific products. And if you're in construction, you have a specific list of things you need to make your business better. And we want that feedback. We want to hear what it is that we need to build. Again, a whole wave of those, dozens of them will again be shipping in this R2 release in October. And so that for us these are always big milestones, take a lot of time and energy. But for us, it's a massive occurrence to ship a product, have it fully tested, ready for your hands, and start getting feedback on it as fast as possible. And so we thank you for that. The faster you upgrade, the faster we can keep improving. And that's always a part of kind of what we do. And then I want to talk specifically about one big part of that. You, of course, are familiar, or many of you are familiar with what our current industry editions: construction, manufacturing, distribution, and retail commerce. That's the core of what we've been working on. We also have a general business edition, of course, but as an industry specific, those are the 4. We announced in January that we intended to build and ship a professional services edition of Acumatica. That will be released soon after the R2 release. It'll have its own special, separate kind of launch availability moment. When you look at our customer base, we already have hundreds of professional services customers, whether it's architects or CPA firms or all kinds of things, lawyers' offices, engineering offices. Hundreds of them are already using Acumatica in its generic form. And we're very excited to bring specific functionality on things like field services and time and expense management and project management, you name it, to professional services specific to an industry edition in the coming releases. And the first release of this, again, will be a few weeks after the R2 general availability. So we said we would do it. We're doing it the next release, and I would expect it to continue to get updates and grow. We have a couple of VARs who are already pushing to sell it. And I think professional services for us will be a big part of our story together with you in the coming years. There may be at some point another edition or 2, and we're working on that very carefully, looking carefully through the market. That's what we do. We want to see where are the pockets of industry that could really benefit from what it is that we're doing with our product. This is the first big one in some years. And again, more to come and more to follow. But we're very excited about it, and we're hoping that you take a look at it if you're in that industry and you give us feedback and use it. So just briefly, one of the things I really like to highlight in these sessions is what it is about Acumatica and again our community and our group together that we think is different and makes us successful. What is the difference? The first thing I always like to talk about that we will never go away from as long as I'm around is the customer bill of rights. I think the customer bill of rights still is a very good manifestation for what we are as a company, as an ecosystem, and as a community. And it's kind of core to what we believe. And we updated it a couple of years ago, and we'll continue to look at it and carefully think about the specific things in it. I like to highlight a few of them for these kinds of businesses, for these kinds of events, because I think it's important to refresh ourselves of where we are. We are the company that will give you a clear fee structure. We are committed to unlimited user access without specific user licenses. We will stay there. We think that gives us real differentiation. We are about transparent, fair pricing. We're not forcing you to sign long-term commitments. And I think a lot of companies that evaluate Acumatica realize that they're looking at us in a way that, wow, of course it's a long-term commitment because you're rolling out an ERP or business management solution, but you're not tied to a contract that you can't get out of. And that's not the case across the industry, which is important. We believe in the public and the private cloud. More and more customers are choosing the public cloud, the vast majority. There are specific use cases where private cloud's better, and we're committed to both. We have this open platform with robust APIs, and it's not going anywhere. We want you to be able to customize and adapt the solution. We think we have a complete security model. We think that covers your data, your application, your reports, your devices. We leverage, our hosted code, but we also have all kinds of security protocol we build ourselves. We work on it very carefully. We manage to deliver very, very well against our security SLAs. Remember, you own your data. You own and access it. If you want to leave and move it, we will give it to you in a usable data format. And you can't get that from other people in the industry often. Obviously, the community, we talked about it multiple times, but the community itself, employees, partners, customers, it's all there for you. And we want that to continue. We will always expose everything we can to that group to make the whole community better. And then finally, online training. I think that online training for us is never going to be a moneymaker. We want online training to be free, comprehensive, and it's something we always want to contribute. And we're always looking at ways to grow and expand that kind of content. So that Bill of Rights for us, I know it's a lot of words, but what it means is we're trying to have this open, honest, fair deal with everybody that surrounds Acumatica, customers, partners, employees, ISVs, you name it. And for us, that continues to be a big part of who we are and what we do. And my slide's frozen. Come on. There we go. So, and I think that, here we are, in 2024, and, you see us a lot more, right? We're popping up a lot more. We talked about, thousands of customers. We talked about hundreds of employees. We talked about even, thousands of employees in our ecosystem. But what we're trying to do also on top of that is drive awareness of the product of us, because I think we're still relatively unknown to a lot of those legacy players, to a lot of those people thinking about QuickBooks, what you name it. And so, I think you'll see our name a lot more. You might hear it in Sirius XM radio ads, which we're on, nonstop. You might see it in an airport. I get lots of photos from people in the ecosystem showing me, hey, I saw you in the Atlanta airport or the Denver airport. And that's very intentional. We're advertising on Google TV. We're certainly doing a lot of industry media. We're doing an occasional sponsorship. Lilia Vu, the number 2 golfer in the world, where's our logo on her shirt? We're quite proud of that. And she's winning tournaments, and she's playing in the Solheim Cup this weekend. You can give that a watch. She won't have our logo on in the Solheim Cup. It'll say USA instead. But she's a great ambassador for us. We obviously doing a lot of online advertising, you name it. All of that is being done, of course, to drive business, but it's also to grow the awareness of the product. We want to attract people to the ecosystem as much as we want to attract customers. I want to bring in more consultants, more developers, more people who want to work with us, because I think that that's still one of our biggest barriers. Is that while we are still a challenger, we're still an up and coming company, even though as big as we are, we're competing with the likes of much larger corporations who I won't name. And so this for us is a core activity, and you'll see a lot of effort and things put into that. But what it really does is lift us all. It's lifting the community. It's lifting, certainly the business. It's lifting our ecosystem. It's putting business into our VARs, into our ISVs, and that's what we're trying to do across the board, is drive that kind of brand awareness. So, and this is my last slide, just warning you, Lisa, Darcy, et cetera, Amy. This is sort of where we are, our future path, things we're doing together. The next 3 months are going to be very important to us here at Acumatica. We obviously have R2. I mentioned, I talked about it a little bit. The general availability will be in October. We have professional services not long after that, matter of weeks. And we're looking at a very, very healthy Q3, Q4 to end our year, which we're excited about. And we'll talk a lot about kind of the momentum and things we're doing at Summit, at the Wynn in Las Vegas. Once again, January 26th to 29th, the registration will open also probably in October. Usually it opens right about then. And so we'll look forward to seeing thousands of you there. We'll be well over 3,000 people at Summit this year, with hundreds of participating, partners, companies, sponsors, you name it. And that's just the next 3 months, right? I think the next 3 to 5 years are going to be a very exciting cycle for Acumatica. I think we've had a very exciting growth wave for the last 5 years. I think the next 5 years will be even bigger. And I think what's important is that we do it with you. We do it with our customers in mind. We do it with our partners together. Our products work for all of you. We're not trying to do something that you don't need. We want to keep true to who we are today. We're going to grow. We're going to get bigger. We're going to take on investment. We're going to add people, but we want to stay true to who we are. And the reason the community to me is so important, beyond all the other business reasons I told you, is that you help us stay grounded. You help us stay true to the company you want us to be. You want us to be a certain type of partner to you, and we want to be that partner right back. And so keeping us grounded, keeping us up to date, keeping us tuned into what's happening at a customer, in an industry, at a moment, at a show, at an event, that is vital to our success. We need that input. We need that information so we can do the best we can for you. That's our future path together. Okay. So thank you very much for listening to me go on about, kind of what we're doing here. I hope it was moderately interesting. As always, I look forward to seeing some of you in person at Summit and maybe even before. But thank you very much for your time and attention and for the opportunity to join you. And I will give you back to the very capable acuCONNECT team. And I hope you have a great sort of couple of days going through sessions, right? And I think there's a lot of exciting content there. And I look forward to hearing more about it later. Amy, Liz, thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Yes, and you're always highly informative. And I just want to reiterate John's comment on the power of community and what makes that as these ecosystems. So thank you, John, for reiterating why we're able to be here today because of you guys providing that platform for us. So thank you.
Absolutely. Good. And have a great acuCONNECT.
Thanks. Thank you, John.
All right. Well, now Liz and I are taking over the show, taking over the stage. Thank you again, John, for such an amazing keynote. We do appreciate it. And we again want to thank all of our sponsors who help make this event possible. So make sure that you visit them in the expo and show them some love there, as well as to attend their sessions when you can, because I know there'll be some that'll go on simultaneously. Just know that the recordings will be made available for any that you aren't able to see in the next 2 days. So thank you to our gold sponsors. And thank you to our silver sponsors. We do appreciate you all for being here and taking the time out of your day to not only share your expertise as well in the Acumatica space, but you may have sessions and in the expo. So thanks again. We have a lot of sponsors. We appreciate it. All right.
We have 3 levels of sponsors. And
yes,
just to reiterate, thank you once again for being here today. But really, we need to make sure that our sponsors realize how much we appreciate them sponsoring this community, because honestly, this event would not happen without them. So as Amy mentioned, please do go and visit them in their virtual booths and attend their sessions and learn more about what they have to provide an end-to-end solution for everybody on today's session and tomorrow's sessions to really make the most of your Acumatica investment. So before we kick things off, I know some of you are new today to ever attending an acuCONNECT event. And so I always like to start with giving a little history of acuCONNECT. acuCONNECT was started over 6 years ago as a grassroots effort by some dedicated subject matter experts in the channel who were looking for a platform to share their knowledge. And so acuCONNECT was born. In officially 2021, we became a nonprofit, and our mission has stayed tried and true since then. And it's really to provide the Acumatica community, not only VARs, ISVs, end users, as well as prospects now, with a network for education, sharing, resources, and collaboration. And so thank you all for being here today to continue to invest in this community and learn and help make that sharing happen. Today, we have 6 members of our board. Obviously, you've already met Amy and myself as president and vice president. But I want to just give a quick mention to many of our other board members who make sure that we are staying true to our mission and focusing on our strategies month in and month out on our board meetings. We've got Mike Notley, who is our treasurer. And we have Darcy Borio, who is our secretary. And then we also have Louisa Gooding and Johnny Girardi, who are also part of our board to make sure that we are all providing content and providing value to the community based on what we're hearing from all the feedback. So this is your board today. We do have re-elections every year, but this has been a good, solid group that we are very happy to be working with each other every month, and we'll keep you posted on how that continues to pan out in the months ahead. We also have a lot of committee members. Everybody on the board is a volunteer. And then everybody that helps make all of the things happen within the community, and these community volunteers, they're doing this out of their free time. This is nobody's full-time job. And so we wanted to take a minute to shout out to all of our committee members today and thank them for their dedication. We have an events and webinar committee, and you heard John talk about the fact that this one has continued to grow because we have a lot of things that people want to hear about. And so in order to provide all that content to you, this committee really focuses on making sure that you guys are able to get what you're looking for and provide the facilitation for the sharing and the learning and connecting online, as well as through special events. We also this year have a conference content committee that is headed up by 2 of our board members, as well as a few other dedicated community members or committee members within the channel. And I do want to just pause here and give a huge shout out to Darcy Borio and Amy Keenan, because without them, in addition to our sponsors, this event would not happen. They are managing all the logistics from start to finish for this event to really make sure that it runs smoothly. And so Darcy and Amy, just a quick thank you to you guys, because the board greatly appreciates all your time to make this event a success every year. And, you know, as I mentioned earlier, we last year had 6 different contents of attendees joining, and this is our 5th annual conference. So, you know, it's a lot of work. I think we've figured out a great system moving forward, or I should say you guys have figured out a great system moving forward to make this smooth. But we're always learning and figuring out how we can make it even better. So thank you again. And then last but not least, I want to mention our social committee. They are really responsible for making sure that we have a digital presence and continuing to help us grow online. So if you're not currently following us online through our social accounts, I highly encourage you to go out there and follow acuCONNECT and stay up to date on everything that we're doing. We post updates out there regularly to make sure that you all are aware of everything we are doing. And then if you're not currently a member, be sure that you are joining up or sharing that insight with others that you think might benefit from this community, because obviously this is all about learning and sharing and networking with others, and we rely on that word of mouth to make that happen. We also are constantly looking for new volunteers. So I'll just put a plug in there that if you are interested in being a member, we do have a spot on our website and where you can fill out a form to join and show your interest in what type of committee you might be interested in. And you can also email info@acuconnect.com and let us know, and we'll follow up with you after the event. So before we move forward with some things on what's new, since our last event, I just want to give another shout out to our top acuConnectors for 2024. These were all committee members. So obviously we want to make sure that those that are really putting in the extra efforts have some recognition. And we announced these at Acumatica Summit 2024 in January. And so I just want to give another quick shout out. Here is some of those award winners with some of the board. We've got Chris Joko, Jennifer Douglas, Karen Wainwright, and Donna Krizik. We've got them from all facets within the community, VARs, partners, customers, etc. So it really does go to show the value of how anybody that's involved in Acumatica in some way can really help to get involved and make this community grow. All right, so let's talk about what's new. Let's go back. As I mentioned, we continue to run as a nonprofit, and we have been since 2021. We are all working this community out through volunteer works. And so that is why the value of this community and these committees is so important to us. We, after acuCONNECT last year, refreshed our website and have spent a lot of time making sure that the information you are all interested in is easy to find and easy to consume. So hopefully you guys are all benefiting from that. We are also continuing to experience growth in community volunteers. So as I mentioned, our social events and education committees continue to grow. And moving forward, we're going to really put a lot of effort on our content, outreach, and technology committees and finding new ways to really provide more value to the community. We've also offered this last year more partner content. In the past, a lot of our content was more end user and prospect facing. And now we're really figuring out that our VARs and other ISVs within the channel are wanting to learn from each other too on best practices. So for example, this last year, we held some webinars around how to be a better consultant, how to negotiate better, and how to really ace those demos. So as a partner in this community, we're really trying to figure out how we can help you grow professionally as well. And then we continue to offer thought leadership educational webinars. We hosted a distribution panel, which as John mentioned, that is one of their key industries. And we had a panel of customers and VARs help provide value on why, what they've done to help make their distribution implementation successful. And then we also had a topic on AI, which everybody's talking about AI these days, but we'll continue to find more thought leadership things that are beneficial to certain, not only niches within the community, but beneficial to everybody based on hot trending topics that we feel are important to the Acumatica community. And then last but not least, we continue to have growth in subscribers and conference attendees. John touched on this slightly, but we are officially over 650. I think it was 680 some this morning before we started where we're at for conference registrations this morning. And our subscribers are up to around 1,800. So we continue to see great growth there. And once again, that's all through word of mouth and all of you sharing with everybody why there's benefit to join this to learn and really make the most of your Acumatica investment. So you might be thinking, who should join acuCONNECT? And I always like to bring up a graph that has a spotlight on kind of what our mix of attendees look like, whether it's through the community subscribers, or this year we're actually showing a overview of who's actually registered for the event. And it's pretty heavily a third between VARs, ISVs, as well as customers. But you'll see that we've got 5% of companies on here that are prospective Acumatica customers. And so if that's one of you, welcome. And we hope that you determine after watching the sessions for the next 2 days that this is the community you want to join because of its camaraderie and its ability to learn and share. And then we also have obviously Acumatica employees that join too. And we obviously thank Acumatica for its investment and dedication to helping our community grow. And with that, Amy, I am going to turn it over to you and we'll cover some quick housekeepings before we kick off the sessions and dive right into a lot of the content we're sharing this week.
Yes. So thank you again for being a part of our 2-day event. You'll see here, this is our housekeeping. So if you're new to this platform or not, pretty much has been the same over the last 5 years. It hasn't really changed much, although RingCentral did buy Hopin recently. But everything is still the same. So we have our reception area, which if you've been in the event early, because it did open quite a little about an hour or so ago, you'll see in the reception was where you can see the 2 days of schedules of the sessions, what times they are. You can see all of our sponsors. Then in the stages, where you are here today for the keynote. And then we also will have the stage for our happy hour tomorrow, and we also will do a brief kickoff tomorrow during day 2 in the morning as well here on the stage. Sessions, you'll see a sessions tab. That's where you'll find all the sessions, but don't worry, you won't see them all throughout the day. They will pop it up 10 minutes early. So whatever sessions are going on, you'll see, and then whatever sessions starting in 10 minutes will pop up 10 minutes before their time slot. So don't be afraid if you don't see your session in the sessions area. It will show up at its allotted time. And of course, networking. We always want you all to network and chat with each other, share your best practices, tips and tricks, and learn and grow from others so you can network. It's kind of like speed dating where you click on it and it will match you to someone else. You'll get to talk to them for 3 minutes and then it will cut you off and then either pair you with someone else or you can obviously exit the networking area. But highly, highly encourage you to go out there at least once or twice throughout the day. Expo, as we mentioned, the Expo is where all our wonderful sponsors are that are sponsoring this amazing 2-day event. So make sure you go out there and visit their booths, learn more about their solutions. Some of them will have some poll questions in there, And as well, some of them will be giving out prizes, and you can see in the prize tab who those sponsors are and how you can win those prizes, because you may have to go to the expo to learn more about their products and solutions to be eligible. So that is all the different areas that you can visit during our 2 days here. All right, let's go over some chat tips. So there are some different types of chats that you will find in the right panel when you are in this event. The event chat, which is where you can interact with everybody. The booth chat, where you can interact with people when you're in the expo section of the platform. There's also a session chat. So when you are attending a session, there is a separate session chat to be able to chat with the speakers and those that are part of the session or attending the session. And then there is, of course, the direct chat. You can actually message people directly through their account if you click on them individually. And don't forget to update your profile. We'd love to see your face when you are making comments and messages and putting it in the chat, because it will show your face every time you do make a comment or engage with us in the platform. Feel free to add your social profile so people can connect with you, and as well as who you are, and tell a little bit about yourself. So don't be afraid to update that so everyone can learn more about you. And last but not least, visit the expo sponsors. You really can visit them any time of the day just by clicking on that expo tab. You can, again, connect with them, learn more about them, check out what prizes they are offering, and you can also chat with them or leave a comment. So if you do have a question, they are not going to be in there all day. They will be in there periodically as well. So if you do have a question for them, you can certainly put it in the chat and they will get it, and they can get back to you with the question that you may have or any comments. So just know that they won't be in there all day, but they will be in there in and out, checking in and seeing if there are any comments out there. So yes, the slides are super blurred. I don't know why. I apologize. All right, and just to let you all reminder, after a long 2 days of education and learning, join us for our happy hour as we wrap up these wonderful 2 days. In 5 o'clock to 5:30, we're going to do some great trivia. We're going to have some giveaways. So yeah, would love a great way to, again, connect, network, and learn and engage with others in the community. So we would love to see you all there tomorrow at 5 p.m. to wrap up our wonderful 2 days of education and learning. So we hope to see you there. And of course, last but not least, we cannot forget to share on social. Share what you're learning. Connect with us on social. Connect with others on social, other speakers, other people that are attending the session. Learn from others. Connect with others. Share your best practices. And don't forget to tag acuCONNECT or hashtag acuCONNECT when you do share on social all the amazing things you're learning as you go through these 2 days with us. All right, that's it. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. And we have about 10 minutes between now and the first sessions that are kicking off. And so take that time to do a bio break or go check out our sponsors in their booth or enter the next session early and start chatting with the other attendees. And we will see you all back online tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Yeah.